Alright, what is going on everyone? This is Mekkah, back here with another Discord Q&A. The second one, if you haven't seen the first one, you can find the link in the description. So what this is I have my own Discord, Mekkah's Keep, and there's a channel called Q&A where you can ask me anything you want, and every once in a while when I have time, I'll make a video or I'll respond in the channel, and in this case, I'm making a video responding to the questions. I might not answer everything, I haven't gone through these questions in advance, so I might need some time to think. Hopefully I'll remember to make some good gameplay footage to give you something to watch, have fun with. Should be some chill music in the background, if not at least. And yeah, let's have some fun. I started off roughly where I left off last time. I ended on February 18th, and currently it's the 18th of March, so about a month later. And yeah, I answered some questions in text here, so that's why I'm starting at this point. If I forgot your question, or if I'm skipping over it for no good reason, then feel free to ask it again. But generally, if I find a question here and I don't answer it, I'll probably not answer it for a good reason. So yeah, I'm also not going to read out usernames because that will just add time to the video. So nothing personal, just gonna read the questions. What era of history do you find the most interesting? I've been fascinated with like Greek and Roman history in high school. Hasn't really carried on though. Like nowadays I'm not really a history buff or anything, but that was always interesting. Of course, Fire Emblem has connections to medieval times, which are also sort of interesting, but generally I'm not that much into history. But when history is told well in an interesting way, I will generally be into it for a little bit, but not particularly a fan of anything. Favorite unit in Conquest so far? I'm tempted to say Niles is pretty interesting so far, as a unit, not as a character, just as a unit. Camilla is really good and really overpowered. Yeah, those stand out for me right now with like chapter 10 fresh on my mind. Let's see. Favorite heroes arts? I find it hard to remember one. I guess Sue was pretty good. That was a pretty recent one. I find the most annoying thing about heroes art is that it's very inconsistent. So if you look at the very early art, it's very different from the art we get now. If you compare like a piece by Ippei, it looks very different from, you know, let's say Alm, the only Alm that has been made. That's always a little jarring to me. But yeah, some Heroes art, I was like, some people ask me like, hey Mekkah, can you at least appreciate that Heroes has good art? Yeah, Heroes has some good art. I just don't know how I feel about people making art for a game I do not personally want to endorse in any way. So that makes it a bit complicated. Would you be interested in making a Let's Play of The Last Promise or not a hack? I've actually streamed Last Promise a couple times and it was a lot of fun. So I might do that sometimes. It is on my like interesting things list. Maybe not for Let's Play because it's really long. But yeah, I'm not opposed to playing hacks at all. But I do think like vanilla Fire Emblem games obviously get more views and more attention because people can relate to it more. So that's why I will generally play those. But technically, like what I've been playing a lot is hacks. Like Negative Growth was a hack. So yeah. Apparently I already answered that in some way. I've loved the Avatar. Why did you choose it? Executor, well, I don't know, Executor is just my favorite Pokemon. The OG especially, but I like the Alolan one as well. I think that was a question later on. Let me check if my sound's recording. I'm just always paranoid. Okay, it is recording, good. So yeah, I don't know, I just love Executor. I think this art was made on my request on Smogon a long time ago. And I've since always kept it around, and it's like a pretty funny avatar, I think. It is just, Executor is just a very chill Pokemon. It just doesn't really give a damn about anything. It just chills under a palm tree, or it is a chilling palm tree. Stupidest thing you did for a draft? I intentionally picked Bantu in an FE11 pseudo warpless draft. There was a draft where we had to LTC all of the GBA Fire Emblem games. That was a pretty fun one. I picked Zealot and he like carried me through FE6. I remember that much. And the stupidest thing I did for that was I drafted Nino as like one of the last picks. And guidance chapters were free for up to a certain number of turns, like 30 or something. So I ended up getting Nino to A staves. And she helped me warp skip several chapters in FE7 and saved me a bunch of turns. I think I also had Amelia in that draft, and she actually legit saved more turns than forward because, I don't know, she was able to do more rescue drops, I think, for some reason. Or she had more speed, I don't know what it was, but she was pretty impressive. Cavalier Amelia, of course. Have you played Team Fortress 2? No, I haven't. I just picked that clip for the FE6 intro. I'll just read out the whole thing. I saw that you use a clip from the Meet Pyro short in one of your first scrimmage intros. If yes, which classes are your favorite? Yeah, so I haven't played it, but I just knew the meme. It's like that thing scared me. And when I don't know anything for an intro, I like to just pick a meme and find its origins, which in a way is a fun way to discover, you know, meme origins. Who are your favorite child units in FE4? Mine are Patty and the Freech Kids, Arthur It's Teeny. I think it's supposed to be said Teeny. Mine is actually Arthur. I actually like Arthur a lot because the whole 0 to hero thing is kind of fun with him because he goes from unmounted to mounted, which is a big difference in FE4. You can have whole SETI, which is always a lot of fun on the horse unit. It's really easy to make him super broken. He's like, if you could seize, he would be as good as Seliph, basically. Really strong. Any others I like? South units in general, not that great. I like Dermot, actually. He's fun to make good, too. And Charisma's great. What's the work culture like for teachers in the Netherlands? A lot of countries have issues with their pay and working hours. Do you face similar issues? Yeah, Netherlands actually is huge on issues with teachers and their pay. Well, for me and most teachers I know, it's not like they want more pay per se, but they want the pay to be balanced with their colleagues in higher education, because they feel like it's not justice. And also it's more like there's just too many hours. Like there's not enough hours in the day to do all the work that the teachers have to do, and they are like have to be there from like 7:30 to 6 p.m. or something, and it's just crazy how much work you gotta put in, especially around like busy times. So they want to be compensated for that. Personally, I'd be happy with just a reduction of the workload. Don't really care much about the pay. Mekkah, do you know where Donan disappeared to? As far as I know, he plays Pokemon Go, and he's probably still either a doctor on his way to being a doctor. I should PM him nowadays. One of these days. Nowadays, what the fuck was that? Which of your Let's Plays do you like the most? The Void's Bizarre Adventure was probably my favorite. Probably one of the few, because the Void's Bizarre Adventure was when it was the first solo Let's Play I did, I think, a proper one anyway. It was a lot of fun. I really liked Negative Growth's FE7, because it was just so different from what anyone had ever done. It was also my first co-commentary with Mangs on my own channel. That also made a lot of fun. We had some great times, some good memes, some issues with the sound quality and everything, but it was a lot of fun. I like that one a lot. But it's hard to really pick a favorite, because FE6 is also bringing in a lot of great times and great memes. But I especially like Negative Growths for personal reasons. Your favorite FE theory? Damn, I can't think of it, but if I somehow end up thinking of it during this Q&A, I'll answer this, because I don't want to like make the sound file super huge by waiting a lot, and also don't want to spend forever editing this. There was some good headcanons in there that I enjoy, assuming you mean like headcanons. I generally don't like other people's headcanons, but there was some I liked. In a vacuum, would you say that an FE7 Wyvern Lord is better or an FE7 Paladin is better? Well, in a vacuum, what do you have to judge him by? Like, if you can't look at the characters, if you can't look like Heath versus Lowen or something, if you just gotta look at like class basis or something, that's just nonsensical. I mean, I guess Wyvern Lord is better because it flies. Like, I don't know what else to say here. Mekkah, why'd you choose the name Mekkah? I'm not answering this question again. Go find the answer, because I think I answered it like 3 times in the last month or something. Sorry. Mekkah, are you doing anytime soon FE12? No, because FE12 is cursed. I might do it sometime. I'm interested in learning it, but not now. Are you interested in D&D? Okay, so I said I was interested in D&D at one point. And then some of my mods actually set a server up and they were going to do it. And I was like, wait a second, this takes a buttload of time to learn. And I was like, okay, I'm interested in this sort of, but like too busy. I'm sorry, it seems very time consuming and very like learning curve-ish, I guess is what I want to say. Just no, not right now. I'm still legit interested in it, but right now I'm just like, no, don't have the time. Favorite boat map? Well, all boat maps are goat maps, but I enjoy guiding boat maps for no reason in particular. Particularly the Celica ones early on. Like the post game ones don't seem as good. Favorite D&D class? Can't really answer that because of the previous answer to D&D. Ever been part of a musical group, that of being a band in a school or solo, whatever? Not really. No, not really. Nothing noteworthy anyway. What's your favorite color? Blue. It's chill. Mekkah, when you think about the utility that some units bring to Fire Emblem, has there ever been some combination of tropes that you wished Intelligent Systems would combine to make a new unit? Example, Battle Mage, Armored Mage that's slower than a Shaman Druid but gets additional armor. Wow. Okay, so it's like gameplay tropes, trends, etc. I don't know. I'm not really one that likes to look at trends. I just like to look at like units individually, because every game is so different and every unit is so different. I guess it'd be interesting to have like a bulky flyer that just sucks at offense altogether, so all they can do is like fly around and maybe transport units, but they can't really fight very well. That would be interesting to see. It's not really an archetype of any kind, it's just something I just thought of. Why Executor are going to skip this one, because I'm just going to skip everything I've answered before. Fate stigma aside, do any characters in that game that you know of actually appeal to you design-wise? Okay, so this is like different from gameplay, I guess. I mean, I like some parts of Camilla's design, obviously not all of it, but I like some parts of it design. Like, the whole color scheme is pretty cool. I think I said that before. Yeah, I can't think of anything else right now for this, I'm afraid. What do you teach as a teacher? I'm not going to really answer real-life questions like this. Sorry. In Binding Blade, who do you prefer, Alan or Lance? In hard mode, I think I prefer Alan, because it's pretty hard for both of them to consistently double, at least in the early game, but Alan, if they both double, or if neither double, then Alan does more damage, and that's a pretty reliable advantage to have. I think his durability is also a little better, but don't quote me on that. Generally, I prefer Alan, but in normal mode, Lance immediately doubles, and that is also very appealing. Do you remember the people who beat you during the showdown stream? I don't remember the names. I do remember getting beaten quite a bit, but that was mostly because of random battles. What makes the 3DS FE games different from other FE games fundamentally? And is that a major reason for why you don't play them much? Well, one reason I don't play them on the channel was just I didn't have a capture card or anything. And now I have a capture card borrowed from Mangs, which only can play the Fates cartridge that he gave me, or that he loaned me. So that's one reason. But the other is really just, yeah, there's just such an emphasis on pairing, which is not my favorite thing to do. I enjoyed it in FE4, don't get me wrong, but it was never a Fire Emblem mainstay, at least not for me. It was never a focus. I don't enjoy playing Matchmaker a whole lot. I don't really care who they end up with, weirdly enough. I know that's like what a lot of people care about, but I'm there for real, actual, tactical gameplay, strategical gameplays. And really just the whole tropey characters. Like, I have issues with most of the things that people complain about for 3DS, so this is not like a hot take, but really that's really all there is to it. It's too anime for me. For me, Fire Emblem was always a game with anime elements, rather than an anime game with strategy elements. Hey Mekkah, I'd like to know, is there a way to not suck at FE8? Yeah, pretty much what they said. It's pretty hard to suck at FE8, to be honest. Hey Mekkah, will you play Cypher with us one day and have a Twitch channel? I actually have a friend who I introduced to Cypher after being introduced to it by Tibarn and Mangs, and he keeps asking me about it, but I keep forgetting about it because I enjoyed Cypher, but it's not something I would play every day. It's a pretty fun TCG, but it's not like so deep that I want to keep playing it all the time. And again, for my channel, I have to think about like what is there an audience for, and Cypher doesn't really bring a big audience. Most people aren't here for Cypher. So introducing things like that, pretty time-consuming videos too, not really a priority for me. But maybe one day when I'm bored, I'll be like, hey, play Cypher with me. What if a student made a Fire Emblem video for a project? Well, that would be good. I actually used Fire Emblem in school several times for things. Can't really give any details about that though. Going off the previous question, some of my professors put a bonus question at the end of their exams for about a TV series or movie they enjoy for an extra point. Wow, cheaters. Would you do something for Fire Emblem if you give it a chance? No, I wouldn't. I honestly wouldn't. Do your exams consist of kids LTCing FE4 and a great depends on turn count? Yes. What do you think of the story of The Last Promise? Like I said, really bad, really too long to read, really exposition-y, a lot of tell, not show. But you know, it was good for its time. If you had to live as a villager in any Fire Emblem continent, which one would it be, and what item would you give to the heroes? I'd probably give someone the boots, just so they could clear maps faster. Or I'd give them like the Aphis drop, so they could feel better about their growth rates. Or I'd just give them a stat booster that gives them +2 something. So they would have better base stats, basically. And if I had to live anywhere, probably some kind of place that doesn't end up in war, which probably means the heroes will never get my item, which means I get to give it to myself. So maybe like FE6 for Ray. I think that they never really get into a big war or anything. They have like Roy is there for a little bit, but he exits soon and fights elsewhere. I guess there's probably more places that don't go to war. Oh, fucking doorbell! Come on. All right, guess I'm gonna have to do editing after all. Okay. The villager we did. Favorite characters for each class. I'm not gonna do list questions. Sorry, it's way too much work. Each class, like, do you know how many classes there are? Have you tried listening to Loveless by My Bloody Valentine? I have listened to at least one song by My Bloody Valentine, but it was ages ago. Didn't leave a bad impression though, so I might listen to it after I'm done recording. Hey Mekkah, would you ever try a markerless run of FE7 or FE6 hard mode? Markerless FE6 seems like an interesting challenge. I know that Chapter 1 of Shadow Dragon is possible without using Jagan, so that might be interesting for FE6. But after you get like one Cavalier promoted, it's pretty much like having a promoted Franz after Chapter 8 in FE8. It's like you basically have Seth, so it's not really challenging anymore. But who knows? Chapter 7 probably going to be pretty hard for FE6 though. FE7 very easy without Marcus, very easy to do. What is the best FE girl look-wise and best personality-wise? Well, I mean, I've always said I liked Mekkah's design, so there's one. I also like Lara from FE5. Like, just, I don't like her like sex real or anything, I just like her design for some reason. I really dig the way that her portrait actually fits into the frame so it doesn't get cut off, and the hair is super cool. Personality-wise, geez. I like Olwen actually. She has a pretty good arc going on. Nana is one of my favorite characters, both for looks and personality actually. FE5 Nana. FE4 Nana looks really weird. That's just like just looking angry and with different hair. Are you aware that the first thing that shows up when you type in Amelia Amel on Chrome with a clean log is why Amelia is bad in general? No, but I really doubt that your history log is completely wiped clean, because Google always remembers you. Do you like Tool? You mean the band? I tried them long ago, didn't really like it much, but could very well be different today. Like, I might as well not have listened at all. Mekkah, what do you think of new Pokemon design, new Pokemon in general? The new Pokemon in general is like, it's Pokemon but on the Switch, and it has better graphics, but it's still Pokemon. So it's not a good or a bad thing, it's just like not really revolutionary. So like, I'm not super hyped about it, but I'm also not like down on it. I might get it anyway, if it's like, if I can see it's fun. But I wasn't a fan of Ultra Sun and Moon, or Sun and Moon in general. So I'm a little cautious about buying Pokemon games. What makes a good FE map? Something has to punish you for going slow, because otherwise pretty much the whole map is trivial. So fun side objectives, recruitable characters. Something gimmicky like the Dragon Veins is cool if it's done well. I heard that in Revelations it's not really done well, but so far not a like big opposed, like not really that opposed to the Dragon Veins I've seen so far in Fates. So those kind of tricks are always fun to like manipulate the map a little bit. And no huge choke points. Choke points are really easy to play around or play with. Have you played Starbound? Nope, I have not. How has the FE fandom changed, and do you think the community has improved when it comes to playing the game efficiently? Yeah, I mean, people in general now are better at Fire Emblem, I think. Part of it due to me, like humble brag, but I probably taught some people how to play Fire Emblem a little better. I mean, I still haven't reached most people, of course. Like, most people who play these games probably have never heard of me, which is fine, you know, whatever. But people have gotten a lot better at like load. Even the best players at Fire Emblem right now are a lot better than the best players were back in, say, 2006 or whatever. So for sure, people have gotten better overall. Fandom, it's always had good parts, it's always had bad parts. Overall, I like the fandom a lot. Some parts of it have definitely been elitist. Some parts still are today, but I think the amount of elitism is really overstated. There is a divide between like people who came in with Awakening and people who came before that, but that's to be expected because the games are so different, and when things are different, different people join, and that's perfectly fine. Why don't you watch JoJo? Because I'm not interested in anime at all. Manga stuff. You mentioned Pokemon cards in one of your videos when you opened a package. Are you the Becca from Hate Trainer? Yes, that's me. Have you ever heard of Red Afrikaans? And if so, how difficult is it to understand and read it? Yeah, I've heard a little bit of it. It does very much sound like Dutch. I mean, it basically is Dutch at some points, so you tend to understand parts of it when you're me. Best Gen 8 starter, not a big fan of any of them, to be honest, which will probably get me bombarded with comments. Have you ever taken a martial arts? If not, have you ever considered doing so? A bit too personal of a question. If you never launched a successful YouTube career, what would you be doing right now? Probably my homework. I have no idea. LTC and Pokémon. I might have like a Pokemon YouTube instead. Who knows? If 3CS776 is so good, why isn't there a 3CS777 yet? Good question. You like Castlevania? Almost skipped this question. I like watching gameplay of it sometimes, but I never played any of the games. Since I've heard you're into prog rock, have you checked out Frank Zappa yet? Yeah, I've listened to a couple of albums by him. He's, yeah, that's a good way to sum him up. It's a bit of an acquired taste, but it's really good music and also sometimes really funny. Yeah, that's a good way to sum it up in my opinion. It's, I haven't listened to it in a while, but yeah. Thoughts on reclassing? Jeez, there's like a lot of reclassing. Fate's one is like super weird to me, like a bunch of different seals and people. I'm glad people in the comments have been explaining Fate stuff to me, because sometimes it's just so confusing what you can do with Fates. Shadow Dragon system is fun and simple. Kind of takes away individuality of units, but it's still interesting enough to keep me engaged. V12 maybe a bit too much freedom to where you can go. Awakening is kind of weird. Awakening reclassing seems to be based to make Robin like super overpowered. Not a big fan of that. I don't mind reclassing, but I prefer units are just properly designed in the right class to begin with. What characters do you think might canonically be captured in for 28x in Thracia? For example, Brighton might be captured since it's not story relevant. They're like, you can't really say like canonically this is what happens. Thracia had like a lot of scenarios in mind for example FE4 pairings, which can be interesting, but even that is like, Kaga has always said that the story is always in the player's head and they're free to make whatever interpretation they want. And I think the same is true for FE5. I don't think there is anyone who is canonically captured for 21x. For my playthroughs is Elba, but that's just my stream lore. What do you think of the GBA Berserk staff? It's really annoying for casual players. I remember having a tough time with it myself when I was first playing the games. It's really hard when someone unexpectedly gets berserked and you can't deal with it, and you have to like wait out the turns while keeping your units away. It's really cheap that they can move through your units. I think you should be able to shield your weaker units like your Dancer from a berserk enemy or berserk player units. It is fun to use yourself, of course. It is fun to use yourself. If you ever get the opportunity to do co-commentary with guests on the game, two of you would be interested in, would you do it? I'd be down for that. I don't really talk to guests. Like, I have no issues with him or anything. I've just never really interacted with him very much. I have no idea what exactly he thinks of me. But I like Gas just fine. We disagree on some things, I'm sure. In fact, I know we disagree on some things. But I'd be down to co-commentate with him if he's down for it. But I'm not going to pursue it, because we're not really friends. We never really talk, so it'd be kind of weird to just go, hey, Gas, want to co-commentate on this? Do you still have saved defenses of Amelia in the folder? If so, how many terabytes is the folder? I actually stopped saving them, but I tweeted another pretty funny one a while ago about how someone's General Amelia could 1v1 my Paladin Amelia. Have you ever found out that an IRL acquaintance was a fan of your content? And if so, have there been any funny situations that resulted from it? Actually, yeah, that happens once. Well, not really. They weren't really a fan, but the conversation. I posted this on Reddit too, so I might as well just say it here. What basically happened was there was someone I was chilling with, and they were like, "Hey, I saw these videos of a guy that was like using the warp staff to clear FE6 maps really quickly." I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. What was their YouTube name?" And they laughed and were like, "Yeah, it was Mekkah." I was like, "Oh, haha," because he knew I was Mekkah. He knew. So that was a kind of a funny, awkward moment. How would you feel about a Pokemon region based on the Netherlands? What would you like to see in it? They would never do that. It'd probably be like a huge ass piece of land surrounded by like all sorts of walls to keep the water out, and then every landscape would just be filled with windmills, and instead of potions you would just give your Pokemon cheese and milk to get into full health. Mill tanks would have white and black patterns. I'm just joking around. Have you listened to Mathcore yet? No, I didn't know I was supposed to. What do you think of FE7X? It's basically FE7 fanfiction, and I don't think FE7 characters and like content were deep enough to warrant writing such a huge, big fanfiction. I appreciate the work that was put into it, but I will probably never play it because like every single thing in there is either completely made up or it's just something that was mentioned in FE7, and in neither case I'm really interested because FE7 is not big enough and not deep enough for me to really like want to see more lore on it, nor am I really interested in anyone like extrapolating more lore from it. So yeah, and gameplay wise I saw Magnus Let's Play for quite a bit of it, and it didn't really strike me as like, yeah, I need to play this. Like, it was kind of difficult from what I can tell, but it wasn't really like interesting difficult. What would be the best way to implement S supports in FE17? Not 3 houses because we ain't for that unethical stuff. Canon pairings, limited pairings. Not everyone needs to support everyone to S. In fact, not everyone needs to support everyone. Would you say Null from FE8 is a waifu like Kanas? And if so, who is better? Well, Kanas is just a legitimate unit. That's good with an early promotion, excuse me. He's just a good unit that gets like highly rated from Luna and Nosferatu, while Flux is actually his best home. While Null is actually very bad as a combat unit, he can just die to every single enemy. I think the luck problem is actually overstated, because if you're going to use him, he's the best candidate for a Hopland Guard. But the thing about Null is he's also just too slow to kill anything, and he's just not very good at combat. He's just too frail, he joins too late. But summons are really good, so the best way to use Null is just use the Guiding Ring or Master Seal to just promote him, and that's all you need to do. Then you're just done with it. And in that respect, I think Kanas is better, even though summons are really good. But Kanas' relatively higher availability makes him the better unit between the two. And I don't think summons is like interesting enough to make like an entire waifu video about it. Maybe like a mini waifu like I did for Valencia. Do you prefer short maps or long maps? I prefer good maps. Long maps often tend to be bad. I can think of a lot of badly designed long maps. I can think of some good ones too. Like, no problem. But generally, if you're gonna fuck up making a map and they fuck up a lot, then short maps are better because it's over more quickly. But if you're gonna make a good map, I guess I'd rather have a long good map. But I don't know. I would lean towards short maps. Do you just hate digital gachas or also physical gachas? What's a physical gacha? Do you mean like the machines where you put money in and you get like a claw to grab things? Because yeah, those are pretty much a scam too. So I also don't like those as much, but nobody really defends them, I guess. Or are you thinking of like Pokemon cards or just booster packs in general? Because yeah, I've kind of grown to dislike those over the time, but at least with those you get a physical product for your trouble. You're guaranteed to get something, and does something still have trading value and market value? If there's a second market, you're still fine. So I like, it's different from like a digital thing, where once a server dies, for example, you just don't have your units anymore in Fire Emblem Heroes. You also can't trade them for anything. What does it take to qualify for Heroes or Hores? I need to know you. That's pretty much all there is to it. I just invite candidates almost randomly based on what I think if they would be a good candidate, and then they also need to like not know much about Heroes. Favorite Dutch curse word? Good. When's Barth's solo run coming out? Never, because that is a stupid challenge, and it was a stupid video by you-know-who. Do you think Arcadia is a good map? Blind players, no. Everyone else should think yes. Well, not that everyone else should think yes, but I think Arcadia is interesting for not blind players, like to the point where it's actually a good map for them. But if you're blind, literally blinded by a sandstorm, that sucks. What would it take to make bad lords like Lin and Roy good in your promotion? Or in your opinion? Well, I just said it. Some kind of early promotion. Good secondary weapon type like axes would also really help a lot. Well, mostly for Lin. Roy wouldn't really be helped much by axes, I guess. Mount would also be good. So yeah, you can get a cookie. Would you rather your lord be force deployed and a liability but have other great units like Seth and such, or have a competent lord but a much more meh and bland lineup of units? I mean, the former does sound better, because like a person being force deployed doesn't really limit you all that much, at least not me. You can play around it pretty easily, especially when you have super good units that just one round enemies before they can get to the lords. So in that way, yeah, but like I can think of good games and good situations and bad situations with either of those, so I don't think either of these is a better or worse choice per se. You mentioned you like Pokemon a lot and you have played the TCG on the channel. Would you be willing to try out VGC when Pokemon Sword and Shield come out? Like, I'd be interested if there was an opportunity cost, but there was always an opportunity cost. In this case, it's time and money. I would need Switch, Capture Card, and good Pokemon. And the last one are like really hard to get. Like, especially at first when there's no real means of like game sharking them in or save editing or whatever. It's so time consuming to breed good Pokemon. I guess people would be willing to donate them at some point when they figure out like cloning. But VGC is just so high effort and so annoying. So probably not going to do that. What is your chance, or what is your stance on the dog versus cat debates? I've always enjoyed the loyalty of dogs, personally, but I can enjoy petting a cat occasionally. I am neutral in this debate. Are you interested in the Dark Souls from software games? I heard good things about Dark Souls. I know it's super difficult, but I've never played it, so I might someday. We think the upcoming Pokemon games has been answered. Should Fire Emblem reward players for LTCing? I guess what I would mean is by that is the player getting extra units, items, whatever good it's for playing quickly. Yeah, I think there should always be a reward for playing somewhat quickly. But you shouldn't get totally screwed over if you don't, because that sucks. Because most people just don't play quickly. I don't play quickly when I'm playing blindly. I don't play Fates quickly. I don't play FA6 Reverse Recruitment quickly, because, you know, it's pretty hard to play quickly without planning it all ahead. And I prefer a more spontaneous playthrough. If you listen to Piper at the Gates of Dawn, yeah, but not lately. But I remember I didn't like it as much as the other albums I've mentioned. Who would you say is the most mediocre unit in all of Fire Emblem? Yeah, Ford. Ford. Noah is also another one that I'm finding mediocre right now. Joshua, also another one. Do you think Karel is one of those Uber lords like Ephraim, Actor, and Ike? Right now he is. Right now he is. Let's play with Donna when. I wish. We talk more about Awakening in the future. I mean, I don't have a card. I borrowed the one I played. So probably not for a while. But maybe at some point. The thing about Awakening also is that, like, I didn't play it enough to where I can really analyze it in depth. I don't know all the best like reclass options and everything. Have you heard of the music artist Nujabes? No, I'm afraid I haven't. What do you think are the most overrated and underrated units? Oh boy, well, just watch Waifu. What steps are you taking, do you plan on taking to improve the selection of FE games you talk about? I have no such plans right now. I mean, I have a 3DS now. That's a step I've taken. What's your actual favorite part of playing Fire Emblem? I don't know, I think Manx said it best. It's just so satisfying to play. It's satisfying to watch enemies die. I think that's really all there is to it. It's really fun to get good combat results, get critical hits, avoid death with like some technical maneuvers. It's fun to Iron Man FE5 because you get really attached to the units. That's my favorite part. Who is the single best unit in the whole franchise? That's Robin, but I already covered that, yeah. Who's your favorite villain in Fire Emblem? Don't really get attached to the villains very much, actually. Like, I like them to be a little more subtle than the Fates ones for sure, but other than that, I'm not very picky on them. I guess I would say, if I had to pick one, it would probably be Leon. Who would you say is your favorite unit in Conquest as of right now? Pretty much answered this one. Same for this one. Do you know Isidora's exposed thighs? Is she FE7 waifu bait now? Let me scroll properly so this is actually in view. I haven't gotten Discord open. Yeah, there we go. I've got Discord open, I just didn't have OBS open. Okay. Very funny. What are your opinions on in-game gay ships like Ike and Soren or Raven and Lucius? And how do you feel about modern gay characters being psychopaths like Niles and Raja being aggressively gay like Leon? See, that's the thing, is I think I said this in the last Q&A. I don't know why they have to be so overt about the gay people in Fire Emblem. Like, if I were gay, I'd be really annoyed with my representation in the game being people like Niles and Raja and Leon. I'd be like, why can't there just be a person that, you know, I hate to use the word, but why can't there be normal people that are just happen to like the same sex? Why is that so hard? Why do they have to have stereotypical traits? That's what I find strange. And that's what makes people like Soren and Lucius more interesting, is because they could be gay, but you know, you can also interpret them as not gay if you want to, which I have no real problem with. But there's hints that they might be, but they're also pretty like normal. Well, I wouldn't say Soren is normal, but you can sympathize with him much more, I think, than someone like Leon or Niles. I think he's a much more reasonable person, basically. I like him a lot more than Leon, Niles, and Rajat. Music has been answered, I'm afraid. In the PME, you're put as a halberdier. Is there any reason for that, or is it just random? It's because of Danvet. Yeah. What's your favorite lord in terms of character-wise, not stat-wise? Oh, so character-wise. Lords have character? I actually like Roy because a lot of people don't. I like Leaf, actually. Leaf is my favorite. Not just because Thracia buys, but just because of what he goes through in Thracia. Would you play Xenoblade Chronicles 1 if everyone who played it told you it was the best story in OST of all time? If literally everyone told me, maybe. I'm just opening the door right here. But, you know, with me playing new games, it's always like, do I have the time and do I feel like getting the game at all? That's really the sticky part. I heard you talk a lot about speedruns for Fire Emblem, but I was wondering if you actually done any speedruns yourself, and if so, what are your most notable times? Any of them close to being world record? People conflate speedruns and LTCs a lot. They're actually very different things. And I don't even do like either LTCs or speedruns a whole lot. In fact, I would never consider myself an LTC player, but that's just a reputation I've got for some reason. But I've never gotten any world records. I've never done anything notable. The closest thing I've done is the race with Vegan that I did a while ago on stream, where we raced FE8 reverse recruitment, and the FE6 individual chapter speedruns that I did are like the very first videos on my channel. I think those are called speedruns, which is why people might be confused. Those were executed as fast as I could, but that was like pretty badly done, if I might say so myself. Like, it's not very good. It's just. But the main point of that video is just, or those videos, is to make low turn count runs. So yeah. A lot of my friends I've had try Fire Emblem always tell me that they find turn-based combat very tedious and time consuming. If you were to design the next Fire Emblem game, this was the thing they had to fix and improve. How would you go about doing it? I think I might have answered this a little while lower. Do you like drop? Yes. Impy dropping a warning. Good boy mods. What made you pick your mods? I don't pick my mods, actually. I picked Pushy because he came to me and said, hey, I'll set up your server for you and do all the work. And I was like, cool. And then he picked the mods for me. So I knew none of my moderators beforehand. Pushy selected them all from questionnaire, interviewing, just general impression. I don't even veto them. Okay, yeah, question for Pushy. If you were to completely erase 3 Fire Emblem games from existence in your memory, which one would you pick? Okay, so I'm gonna assume that this question means I have to eliminate 3 Fire Emblem games, because I would actually choose not to eliminate any of them. Maybe Revelations, because I've heard that doesn't really do anything. Because as much as I dislike some of the trends of modern Fire Emblem, I would not erase all of Fates or all of, you know, Awakening or whatever. So I would pick Revelations because it doesn't bring any new people and pretty much everyone hated it. That's an easy first pick. From there it's pretty hard because every Fire Emblem I think kind of builds up to the next one in a way. Not that they're like sequels of each other, but they're all pretty unique and I don't really want to erase any. I guess we can... No, I don't want to do FE3 because that has Book 2 and I actually like FE3 Book 2. This is actually really hard. I guess we have to go with Birthright then. Like, at least that way Conquest still exists. And Birthright is just a joke all around. From what I know, anyway. From what I know. So we got Revelations, Birthright, and we can keep Conquest around, just so that Fates exists still. Gives them more time to expand on Fates' story, because, you know, it could have been better. And then we got to erase. I'm leaning towards Echoes, even though a lot of people really liked it. But I just have to pick something, and Echoes is a remake, which means the original story doesn't get lost. And the gameplay of Echoes isn't that great. I still have to make a finishing video about that. Oh, fuck. But I think we have the least to lose with Echoes. I know it's a lot of people's favorite, okay, but every game is someone's favorite. I could also get rid of Shadow Dragon, but you guys know I actually like Shadow Dragon. Oh, I can get rid of New Mystery, I guess. That could be an option. Oh, I hate this question. It's really good. What's your favorite type of game that isn't strategy? Just simple platformers, simple flash game platformers. Any units that you, for any reason, don't like? Yep, Ford. I tend to dislike units that get overhyped a lot, but it's nothing personal. What's the most interesting weapon gameplay-wise? Magic swords tend to be interesting because they do something different at range than they do from up close. Yeah, that's pretty much my answer there. Name. If 3 houses ends up as a fates thing, as in they split them up, would you still be interested? No, but I really doubt they were going to do that. Like, they won't. We already know they don't. Also, if you were still interested, which of the 3 houses would you like side with? Edelgard, probably, because I like her the best, but that's because we've seen the most of Edelgard, so it's kind of wrong. Where did you find the Marduk games? When I was a kid. I was just browsing. And do you like them? Yes, they are really fun. I haven't beaten 3 yet though. Can you play their Langrisser? Nope, it's a gacha game. Karaoke. We heard some karaoke from Mangs today. Mekkah, do you think you can try and outsing Mangs? Nope, I'm terrible at singing. Terribly at anything musical, in fact. And you're just playing Secret Contention on stream. Not right now, but nothing personal. Again, I just don't have the time to play every single game ever on stream. Will you ever solo FE4 first gen with Arden on stream? Maybe. That seems like fun, actually. And by fun, I mean it'd just be a good opportunity to interact with the chat, because Arden solo is easy and boring and long. Would you be willing to record yourself playing FE hacks that you consider bad in order to point out what they do right or wrong, essentially pitfalls in hacking? I'm not the best game designer, actually, contrary to what some people seem to think. I don't think that's like right up my alley. And also, to do a proper review of a FE hack, I feel you have to play them like all the way through almost. So that is, yeah. If you have in chaos mode, no, I don't want to play that. I think I told you before I don't want to play that. Super Thracy. I would play that just for the memes. Mangs didn't finish it, so. Seth versus Sigurd, who would win? Well, Sigurd has a turfing, so he would probably win. Will you play Berwick Saga once fully translated? I'll probably play Tearing Saga before I do that. Do you think that a new Fire Emblem game with the same or similar gameplay systems to FE4 is a good idea? Depends on which things they copy and which they don't, because there's some things of FE4 that they shouldn't copy, even though it all works well in one whole, like as a whole. Yeah, probably not right now. Hey Mekkah, have you ever listened to Aphex Twin? No, I haven't, but it sounds like prog rock. What kind of attitude would you like to see less of in FE debates? I mean, just be respectful to your opponents. Just address their arguments, not the person. Be a good guy. Like I actually had a debate on YouTube today with someone, and I was really opposed to what they thought. But I just made sure that not make it personal, don't get snarky, just attack his arguments, not the person, basically. And just have a bit of an open mind too. If I guess we're going to remake 3C and he asks you to help design the gameplay, what would be the things to change that? What would be the things you change that in your mind would help better the gameplay? How long have I been at this anyway? Jesus Christ. Okay, 40. Jesus Christ. Okay. What would be the things you change that in your mind would help better the gameplay? Okay, so I will probably remove movement stars. Yeah, that's for one. I'd keep leadership. I'd keep fatigue. Keep S-strings, keep capturing. I put a little bit of a limit on capturing. I had a discussion with this on Mangs, both on his PME stream and then in private, because I really disagree with him. Because he feels that capturing, it makes perfectionists feel bad because they want to get everything, but they won't get everything, because you pretty much cannot get everything. I would make it very clear to the player that you don't have to capture everything, and maybe even limit them to a limited number of captures each map, or just make some enemies uncapturable, just so players are like felt at ease. But really, I think it's more important that the game just teaches the player you don't have to capture every enemy to succeed. Just capture when it's convenient, but don't bother. In fact, what I might do, actually, come to think of it, is make certain weapons able to capture, like brave weapons and maybe effective weapons. Like, don't make like Iron Axes able to capture, and that way people know that the limit on what they can capture is pretty much the weapon uses. And then They'd be very selective about what they capture, and they wouldn't go through the pain of unreliable captures all that much. That might be one thing I would do. I'd probably rewrite some parts of it. I don't think Marita's position really has a whole lot of place in Thracia. Or, well, you can keep it if you want, but it's not like the greatest part of the game or anything. I don't like position very much. Yeah, probably remove warp tiles, or make either some kind of hint of where they are. Like, you know how in the desert you can usually find items near bones? I'd probably like put some visual indicator to where there's a warp tile near or something, and that way you can avoid them. Or I'd make it clear to the player that, hey, if you use an item while on a warp tile, you won't get warped, so that's a way to get around it. Like, just tell the player that. That could be fun. God bless Kauga, I agree. What's your favorite Pokemon region? Kanto, Johto, Hoenn. It's pretty hard to pick. Hoenn has too much water, though. Favorite OU Pokemon? I like Celesteela. If you could change something in Echoes besides the RNG, what would it be? Maps. Yeah, these people have a pretty good way about answering my questions. Yeah, enemies in dungeons are pretty annoying too. What do you think of Three Houses' main team? If you mean the song that was released, I like the instrumental version that I put under one of my videos a long while ago. It's by like a guy named Enron or something. It's a pretty good one. I like the theme. Probably get sick of it. What do you think of making a video debating with members of the server over Fire Emblem units and related topics? Maybe, but like opening up myself for debating with other members is always risky business, so I'd have to find a good way to go about it. Are there any Fire Emblem games that you flat out dislike? Are there any that you don't consider real Fire Emblem games? The ones that I probably dislike the most I haven't played, because that's pretty much just Fates, so not really. I don't dislike any Fire Emblem game. I dislike what some of them stand for, if that makes sense. Like, I hate that Revelations is pretty much just a waifu sandbox simulator. But, I don't know. If I play Revelations ever, I might hate it. What do you think about Limb Mode as a tutorial? I have seen many more experienced players say that Limb Mode is an overgrown tutorial, but I admit that when I started the series, I liked Limb Mode more than the rest of the game. So do you think Limb Mode did a good job? Or do you think some things could be done better, or that influences new players to fall into pitfalls? It actually tells new players to visit houses, I think, which is pretty stupid. That's not one of the first things you should learn. Overall, it was an okay introduction. I know that when I was new, I didn't really take in all that it gave me, but that was probably my fault. Maybe even my English was lacking. I know I misremembered how the weapon triangle worked for one. But yeah, you should have been able to skip it like the Japanese by plugging in an F6 cartridge, that's for sure. I think it's okay, but they should have made it shorter, for sure. Also, no rain, please. How many times have you played FE5 Iron Man? Okay, so I did the YouTube playthrough, that's one. Then I did another one, complete run that I completed on stream. And now it's basically my third complete run ongoing. It's like chapter 20 as of speaking right now. And then there's like a bunch of failed runs in between. So it's gonna be like 3 complete times and then a bunch of in-betweens. Donuts or bagels? I'd have to go with bagels, but I'm not really a big fan of sweet food per se. Hey Mekkah, how do you think that Nightcraft could be improved in FE games? Give him 5 move for starters, give him the same move as normal infantry people, with like heavier terrain penalties if you have to. Make defense relevant. I feel like FE right now is useful enough to where I can deal with the lower movements. Also the pair up helps, of course, for at least make it easy to like rescue drop him around maybe. How did I meet Mags? This has been answered before. Which gen tier is your favorite? Ram battles, I've answered this before. If you were to design a split promotion, how would you balance it? Probably like movement versus some other relevant perk, like I don't know, Slayer, different weapon types. Like I think that Garrick is like the most balanced split promotion. Are you a vegetarian? Yes. What are your thoughts on Yoshiyuki Tomino's works? I'm not familiar with them. How long will it take to get all these people to A stabs? Pretty long time. Who's your favorite female character in Fire Emblem? That would probably be Nana. Maybe Avel actually. I've been liking Avel a lot lately. Thoughts on King Crimson's Red album? If you haven't heard the album, it's pretty good. Not as good in the grand, not as grand as In the Court of the Crimson King, but it has some really good qualities going for it. Yeah, I like both actually. I don't have a favorite between the two, in fact, but it's also because it's been a while since I listened. Also, listen to Close to the Edge by Yes. Yeah, very good song. What do you like most about Fire Emblem? I've answered this. Do you play other Pokemon games besides Red and Blue? Yeah, I've played Gen 3 sometimes. Gen 2 as well, like all those are good. We do more tier lists, yeah. I agree with Mank that we'd like take turns uploading the videos, so right now it's his turn. And then we're gonna do one on mine again. Let's see. Did you expect to get as many questions? Yeah, sort of. This is a month worth of question. I'm already like, it's probably gonna be an hour-long video. Jesus. What exactly made you prefer bases over growths? I don't actually think that growths are completely irrelevant or anything, and in some games they actually really matter. It's just bases are concrete, and bases also just have such a big impact on the units, like being for such a big time in their life. Like it takes a really long time for growths to take effect, especially differences in growths. And when I noticed that, I was like, wow. And the fact that you can clear a game on bases alone, while you can't do it really with growths alone, unless you like heavily RNG abuse, also kind of does the trick there. In one of your videos you mentioned that you like animals. Do you have any pets? No, I don't have any pets. Is speedrunning on Quan a good idea? Nice meme. Which one do you prefer, OG Executor or the Alolan variant? Yeah, this was what I was talking about. I like OG because he's OG, but I have nothing against the Alolan one. He was second. If he was first, I would have liked him more. I like the memes with the Alolan. Yeah, we're not gonna answer that one. Do you watch fighting game tournaments? No, because I suck at following them. I have no idea what's going on, not even in Smash. Why does the symbol for pitfalls show a paladin if they are one of the best classes? Okay, I didn't actually make that symbol. A guy named Fullbody made it, and it was the only one I had, and I used it for a long time. It's pretty good. I guess it's fun because paladins are apparently a big cause of pitfalls. Like Paladin Amelia is basically related to a pitfall called General Amelia. Well, that's not really a pitfall, but that's for another video. The point is, it's relevant, okay? And then people use class by class a lot for paladins. Paladin versus Great Knight is also like a really big debate for some people. Ford is a paladin, so lots of reasons to have a paladin in there, but those are like retroactive. And yeah, that's all the questions I got. These were from today, so if I missed yours, you have permission to like ask it again. Do keep discussions in the channel to a minimum, like don't answer questions for people, because that just makes these videos longer to scroll through. Woo! Well, hope you learned something, hope you had a good time. Yeah, have a good day. I'm tired. Peace.